Will the variance here in Outsiders be the end of Flesh and Blood? Is it going to ruin the game? Is it a big problem? Right? There's a lot of hype right now going around about God boxes, God cases, and also people opening cases with no legendaries on the opposite end. Is this whole shenanigans of Variance the best thing ever? Or is it going to ruin Fab? That's what we're talking about today here on Master Set Madness. We are opening case number 5. That's right, we are already on case number 5, and it is only the 4th video. If you don't know about that, you need to go back and see the previous one, because again, this is a series. This is a series, and you're going to enjoy the series better if you see the whole series. Generally, I think that's generally how it works better. So we're trying to open a complete master set here. And as I've said before to other people, I'll say it a little earlier this time because I know some of you leave too soon and you miss out. But we're doing the case 19 challenge. We're trying to finish a complete master set 1. Every single variation of printing of a card that you can open in a booster box by case 19. And that's wild, but it is possible. It is possible. Our first cold foil here is Seeker's Leggings. And again, if you missed case 4, like, it's very possible that we get there. Cyclone Roundhouse, our first Majestic. Anyways, so Variance, just right back in the topic. Speaking of Variance, right? I want to get this clear from the beginning for everybody that opening boxes that are bad, right? If you're opening a box in Flesh and Blood that is bad, that has nothing in it, no valuable pieces or whatever, you opened a case and you didn't get any legendaries, no marvels, no fableds, no whatever, anything good, that does feel terrible, right? Let's just make that clear. It feels terrible. It's no good experience. On the flip side, with Flesh and Blood in particular, I think compared to a lot of other card games, it feels really good when you get those amazing boxes, right? So there's just a wide, huge chasm between the two of them, and the wider that chasm gets in a card game, the more intense the feeling is on both ends. So if you got that terrible box of Outsiders and you see people getting these super wild amplified boxes that just cases that have 16 legendaries in it or something like that, that really makes your bad box feel extra bad. And it of course makes you question, well, did they just get what was supposed to be in my box and then I kind of got the shaft, right? That's not fun at all. Similarly, when you see and know that there's a lot of people opening terrible boxes and you get a good box, that makes you feel pretty good that you didn't get that bad box, right? Like, it's, if every box is good, then, wow, you got another good box that everybody else got. Or it's just kind of slightly better than the rest of the boxes out there, then, I don't know, not super exciting at that point. So this chasm, right, it creates bigger extremes on both ends. Let's put it that way. And that is for better or for worse, depending on which end of the extreme you get in your boxes. And I think so, perfect example of these, my last box was not a God box, Seeker's Leggings, the rainbow foil. It was not a God case in the sense of those cases where you get, again, those amazing 16 legendaries, whatever. But it sure was a really, really good case, and I think in many other sets it might have been considered a, God case. So it was amazing. So go back, watch the last video. It's case 4, but it's actually video number 3. And then go and watch case video 1 and compare the two of them. And it's just, you see the wide spectrum of what you can get from everything. It feels like almost everything to nothing. Everything to nothing. That's the perfect example. And in Fab, that's the name of the game. I've been saying it for a long time. I've used the phrase feast or famine. Another way of thinking about it is sometimes you hit the moon and sometimes you don't get off the ground. That's just kind of kind of how it is, and how it's been for quite a while. So is this the best thing ever for Fab, like with outsiders and all this variance and wild stuff, or is it going to ruin it? And I guess I just kind of said it, but Flesh and Blood has been this way. The high variance has been around for a while. It's not super new. It might feel new, or it might feel a little bit more intense right now in outsiders, but I've been talking about the variance problem since I've been making videos on this channel. Right? There has been so many cases. I think for every set that I've opened multiple cases for, I've gotten cases that have no legendaries. And back in the, and yeah, they felt terrible. They felt terrible for sure. Like, I'm not gonna deny that or downplay that. Or Biddle class, that's actually our first non-foil version. That's the word I'm looking for, non-foil. First non-foil version of that one. Especially back in Arcane Rising and Welcome to Wraith, like, there was not a whole lot of other options for value. You weren't looking for marvels or anything super exciting back then. So when you missed that legendary, unless of course you got the really big Majestic, which could have happened, you missed out. You missed out. This is the end of box number 1 here, and here we go. Box 1, variation train. We're back on it. We're back on it, and this, look at the last video. This is the exact opposite of it. We got this. What is this worth now? I could go look at my tracker. I'm not going to. It's a beautiful card, but this might be the $2 Rainbow Foil Majestic. And we got the regular version, which is less, like none silver, like soup. This is a terrible, terrible box. So I guess for every amazing box, you gotta get a couple terrible ones. That's Flesh and Blood. That is Flesh and Blood. I even I think before I started opening all these Outsiders cases, I made a video, and I'll try and put the link here if I can remember to do it above, so you can watch it after if you haven't. But I made a video just talking about, should you buy Outsiders boxes based on the variance game? And I made that knowing or not knowing anything about these God boxes, or actually seeing kind of how wild the variance can be. I think it's still relevant. Again, you go watch that if you haven't seen it already, because variance is nothing new here. It's nothing new, and I wouldn't get too excited by all the things you see going around on the internet. Right? So like, think back to just the previous set, Dynasty. Was there a lot of variance on that one? Oh, you betcha. You betcha. All you have to think about is the Emperor, right? Like, just imagine the variance between, you got the Emperor, which was very, 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 very rare, or you got one of the many, many boxes that did not have the Emperor, and did not have a legendary, and did not have a marvel because you never found a marvel. Or for me, still after 19 cases of Dynasty, no Fabled. That's variance. That's just Dynasty. I mean, we can go back down the list. You can look at some of my Uprising videos where we got the $0 box. Head leads the tail. Cool card. Again, a lot of these Rainbow Foil Majestics are, actually the foils are doing better than the regular ones, but a lot of them are really coming down. Like Wander with Purpose is under $1. It's already under $1, and we're just a couple of days in. And while that might be the first one to really get low there, Infecting Shot, trust me, there are going to be more. There are going to be more, especially if people keep getting all these amazing Wild God cases. Like, something's got to go down in price. Shakedown. Down is still doing okay. But still nothing super exciting here. This is the one side, and you know, again, so it's not new here in Outsiders, and so far Variance has not killed Flesh and Blood. Variance has not ended it in any way, shape, or form. We're still rolling, right? And you know, I don't have any broad evidence of what, you know, how people choose to buy boxes or why they choose not to buy boxes. I get a little bit of information from you guys when I ask, sometimes on polls and different things. I feel like I get some decent information, but I wouldn't be surprised that, particularly here with Outsiders, the perception of kind of this wild opportunities for variants that you can get these amazing boxes, cases like the last one I got. I wouldn't be surprised if that makes a non-insignificant amount of people, that's probably a weird way of phrasing it, it makes a decent amount of people decide to buy more boxes instead of less, right? At the same time, I think that probably does the exact opposite, for other people, where they're going to choose Codex of Frailty, a great hit today, especially after everything going on at Chicago. Those cards are flying high for now. They're flying high for now. Be careful out there. It's still release week, and who knows what's going to happen. Patience is a virtue. But yeah, some people, they're going to see kind of the variations, they're going to hear the talk about it online, and they're going to say, nope, I'm not buying any of those boxes. Like, there's no way I'm getting the God box, so I don't want the little box. I'm just going to hold out. I'm going to look for my foil gore belchings online to make sure I get what I want, and I'm skipping this variance train, right? So there's both, and nobody can have all the stats for knowing why every single person chooses, why they do or don't buy anything. We're almost 3/4 of the way here on box 2, and again, the variance train is being very, very quiet for us. But look at that. Orbitoclast, Cold Foil Majestic. These are hard to get, and this one looks good. It looks good. I can't remember though if this is the one I need or the one I already have, because they look the same, just in a different direction. I can't remember. And I don't know, I'd have to go look. Infiltrate. I'd have to go look at a spreadsheet or something. Anyways, let's think here. Pause for a second. Recalibrate where I'm at. Anyways, and so it's not just Flesh and Blood, right? Like, all TCGs have variants. It's literally built into the idea that you are opening packs of, random cards. There are specific things you're supposed to get within a pack, and the odds are supposed to be there, but in general, it's random, right? You have no idea what you're gonna get, and often you don't get the one you want. So that's not something new. It's part of the business model, and it should be expected. If you're gonna play these games, you gotta just expect it. Every once in a while, you're gonna get a Flick Knives. Apparently, Flick Knives is going to be the legendary of choice for Master Set Madness Outsiders, at least here at the start. We are just rolling in those. We are rolling in Flick Knives. And I'm just gonna make this pile. Let's give up the spread. We don't need to spread anymore. I'd rather spread the legendaries. Flick Knives, nice to see that. It's one of the better ones right now, so we'll take it. We got that old Concealed Blade. Last pack, box 2. Oh, I thought that was gonna be something exciting. Just those toxic tips. Still looks gorgeous in a box 2. And yeah, so just TCGs in general, I think a way you can think about it, the less variance you have in opening packs, the less exciting it is, right? So the less people get hooked, because there's not as much of an opportunity for this wild, amazing triple, quadruple X your money, which just, unfortunately, you can't get away from the money aspect of TCGs, because again, it's all part of the business model. It's how it works. It's how you can have super cool pro tours and lots of different artwork for super cool cards and new sets all the time. It's part of the game. And so God boxes, they have appeared, right? They've appeared in other games. This is not the first time it's happened. And usually when it happens, it's pretty exciting, right? Like, there's going to be people, of course, who are frustrated with it, and frustrated because they feel like maybe something's been pulled from them. You guys see that? Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? That means the quiver count has increased. That is our third quiver of Abyssal Depths. And that means, are we at 5? Is that 5 for the quiver count? I'm gonna have to like actually start keeping track on the screen, I think, for the quiver count. I'll double check that. And if I remember, I'll put it on the screen. If I don't, it means that I'm not listening to myself at this point. And you will know more than I know. Spire Sniping, that was that card today. Chicago, I'm filming this Sunday night. So if anything I say has changed by Monday or Tuesday or whatever day you're watching this, please forgive me. Yes, and so again, not other games too with TCGs, more people sometimes buy in once there's a God box or there's that super hidden thing like a Emperor or something, you know? So it's not always a bad thing for games and for moving games forward. And yeah, they just, again, like my last case, you watch it, that kind of a case, or Beta Class, look at the rainbow foil. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I gotta forget, I can put it on this side of the screen because I don't have the list up yet. Like my last case, again, people just want to run and get trying those things. So we'll see kind of what effect that has on this. Either way, I don't think there's going to be super huge run or super huge exit from it, because I don't know, I just don't think it's going to happen. If there's a super huge run on it, there's going to be more printings. Premeditate, that's the Majestic you want to see. That and the Codex of Frailty, those are the ones that are just running. They are running, they're going for the moon. They are being the outliers. Again, as I've said before, most of the Majestics are going down. They're on the train down to nothing, or as close to nothing as they can get. But some of them again, they're going to have those spikes from events. I've mentioned that many times. Events can just pop cards. Those two got popped today on Sunday, and we'll see. We'll see kind of how the market reacts in the long term on that. But I still think if you took all the Majestics from a couple days ago, and if you had bought the singles of all of them, and you came back today, I think even like the price increase on those is not, it's either going to be similar or less than the decrease on all the rest of them. You know, in legendaries, and there's a lot of cards moving down. Let's put it that way. Especially like, you know, big ones, big marvels and stuff like that. Some of them have lost $100 or so. So patience is good. Patience is good. And yeah, this is, I've said it, I think I already, ooh, it's kind of a cool pack here. We've got foils and cold foils, another Gillet. I don't know how many Gillets we're at now. On to now, I can't keep track of all those common cold foils. There's too many of them. There's too many of them. Yes. Yeah, so ultimately, no, I don't think this is gonna have, I don't think it's gonna end the game. Like, let's put it that way. All these things are not, if Magic 30 can't kill Magic, this isn't gonna kill Flesh and Blood. It's still a great game. It's super awesome. Like, it is really unfortunate that the different issues with the distribution of cards within packs is also coinciding with a lot of printing errors within the set. At least that's what people, you know, say, and you've seen some different things online, but there's so much out there. There's so many people creating things and content, but I can't keep up with all of it. There's details all over the place. Half the time I learn things from you guys saying things down and dirty. So if there is amazing fab news that you think I should know, feel free to write that in the comments, because I just don't have time to keep up with everything that's going on out there, which I'm sure most of you don't either. Oh, that crest, you're tricking us. Those common rainbow foils, the equipment ones, they trick you, because you think you're getting something wild and amazing, and then they're like, nah, gotcha. Just wrecking havoc on your dreams. Yes, they do. And, you know, as long as the ratios for all these big cards aren't affected in general with what's out there, which I don't know, if I'm looking at like a min-max games 500 box opening, doesn't seem like there's super big issues on there, like not being enough legendaries or different cards out there. I don't think it's going to have a huge effect on single prices, and you know, most of us or most people end up going for singles anyways. I'm of course an outlier because I'm a glutton for punishment. Glutton for punishment. So I don't think that's going to have a super big effect on the game. Playing wise, Codex of Inertia, nice to see that one. Haven't seen a lot of those. That's in a box 3. We have improved significantly from box 1. Significantly from box 1. And so here's I guess another point too. Like there's a lot of the conversation about let me say it. This was a lot more earlier. Like, don't buy that. If somebody's selling single boxes, they've got one single box to sell you. It's probably because they opened up a case, they found the good stuff, and then that's the last box. It's the stinker box. There's nothing in it. Like, they've pulled all the good stuff already. In theory, right, that can be true and can happen. But with all this crazy variance, it makes me much more comfortable in opening multiple things or single boxes. I'm not afraid of that because I've seen from my own openings that, well, you might end up getting 2 Fableds within the same case. In fact, that might be the only time you see a Fabled is when there's 2 in the same case. Or things like all these packs where you get double legendaries in a pack. That one I think is definitely, I feel like that's gotta be an issue, you know, with the printer. I don't think they were planning on that, though it is pretty awesome when you get it. It's pretty awesome when you get it. And it's, I don't know, seems a little bit too common for it to just be, like that feels like it should be a really, really rare thing. And the fact that I've seen with my own eyes 2 of them after not too much, I don't know. And other people have seen quite a few, so that kind of feels like a mistake. It's a mistake. Dishonor. Old Dishonor. And the Pendulum Track. Look at that foil. Look at that foil. If you're into the gore, that one is for you. That one's for you. Anyways, buying 1 box, it's okay. It is okay. Do not, from my perspective, you shouldn't be afraid of picking that up from somebody because it's the real randomness there makes that a viable thing. It makes it a good thing. And that, in that sense, it actually makes it better for people because a lot of people are just gonna buy 1 box, or they buy a box here, a box there, a couple boxes, you know, at a time. And that means that even if somebody's trying to kind of mess you up and trying to sell you that box that they think there's nothing in it, it's just a lot less likely of a chance that people can game the system that way. And I like that. I like that. I hated it back in the day, some different games I played, some miniature games where people would cut open the boxes, and come up from underneath and pull out something good and then glue it back. Or it was pretty easy to count it out of, well, we've got one here, so you can count between 5 and 8, and then you can find the next one. I appreciate it when they do things that make it so you can't do that so well. Yeah, there's too many people out there who just want to try and get an extra buck and do stuff like that. So if they can avoid that from happening, great. I think that's great. I do think that is great. And kind of in line with what my last video was too, I just remind people too to be kind, right? All it says is created this super awesome game. It's super fun. And you know, honestly, they're not the ones who are actually printing all of this. So I'm sure they're having some fun conversations with the printer about different things. And yeah, I talked about that a lot with making mistakes. It's okay. Mistakes happen. And I would rather be the kind of person who pauses and thinks, okay, what are all the possible reasons for why this might have happened? you know, having a little bit of grace of remembering that I make plenty of mistakes. So, you know, before I get on the train of hounding on somebody else, it's just better to pause, relax, remember it's a game. We all got our knives out. We can put them away, save it for the game table, and yeah, have some grace with people. But I do, like, I mean, like, I think with a lot of people, I have a love-hate relationship with the variance in Fab. Flick knives, double flick knives. There you go, there's the variation. There's the variation. I would love to see the cold foil one. I would love to see the cold foil one. But I'm not okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna complain about that. This is one of those situations where I kind of like it, right? It's so exciting when you're on the right side of it, which makes you love it, right? Like, how can you not love that? And look at this tunic. Look at that crimping. I don't know. I haven't opened enough boxes to see how common this crimping is here in this set. But as some people have said, like in the past, wow, you got a crimp card, that's awesome, cool error. Now it seems like maybe there's just a lot of that going on here. And so maybe it's not super exciting. But we'll keep it on the side. So I love the fun, but I totally get it. And I hate the idea that, right, there's some people, I've said this before, I hate the idea that somebody could buy their first box of Flesh and Blood. They don't have a lot of funds, but they go for it, they jump in, they've heard so many great things about the game, and they open it and they get just nothing. They get nothing worth of like monetary value that makes kind of their purchase feel like it's worth it. They don't get double Codex of Frailties, they don't hit any big cards, and then that's their first experience of the game. Like, I hate the idea that that's a possibility and that some people are just gonna run away from it after experiencing that. You know, my story, I got really lucky. My first box was Welcome to Wraith Unlimited, and I got a tunic, which was amazing. You know, I opened it up, I didn't really know what it was, but we'll go check it out, of course, see what it is and find out, oh my goodness, it's so valuable. And then the second box I opened, I think it was the same night or the same weekend, is I opened a Crucible of War first edition box. This is back when they were not super expensive. And I got a Courage and Bladehold cold foil. And so, I mean, what kind of a better experience can you ask for when you start? When you start the game, like that's amazing, that's awesome. But just based on the numbers, we could know that most people don't get that. And that's sad. That does make me sad that that's a possibility. But I'm not gonna stop the game. I love the game still. Master Set Madness will continue. We'll check out here in Majestics here. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, which has happened a couple times. Specifically a Premeditate and 2 Codex of Frailties. That is really good. Very, very good at this point within the market cycle, if you could sell. Our foils Down and Dirty Orbitoclast, which looks so good, Belching Tails, and the arrow. My favorite not valuable card is that arrow. We got 3 legendaries, the Quiver double flick knives, all rainbow foil, and then of course the Orbitoclast here. Let's just check. Is that the one we need? I don't know. I have it over here somewhere on the side. This table, there's a lot of stuff here. It is like we got the other one. So we got both the Orbitoclasts. Check that one off the list. That's the first one we've completed, the only Majestic cold foils we've opened so far. If you're interested in more of the stats, again, the tracker, it's available through my Patreon, where the tracker's got a ton of details, not just keeping track of what we've opened and how far therefore we are with the set, but also keeping track of the value of what things are worth now and before. And actually it's kind of interesting just looking at Premeditate, seeing the price I had on there on Friday and then Saturday and then Sunday. It'll be fun to see what it is on Friday or tomorrow, which is today for you, Monday. It'll be fun to see what it is on Monday, and you'll see then, like, wow, this case was worth this much on this day, and then a month from now you'll see that exact same case is like not at all worth that. It is not the same value. So check it out if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. Let's finish this by case 19. We got more videos coming out this week.